I think that was a very good intro. Thank you so much for that, bro. Okay, so let's get started. Are you all excited today? Yes. Yes? I know it's a lot of session, lot of knowledge transfer happened so far. Like 4 sessions happened already for this day. Right? This is going to be a 5th session. Yeah. I know how hard it is, right? First of all, I wanted to thank each and everybody to take your time, come here, settle up for this session. I want to make sure that I don't make your decision regret. I hope I have some interesting things which I have in my in talk, probably which you can understand too, right? For this talk, we've named it as From Screen to Mind. When you think about this sentence, from screen to mind. It's like, okay, from screen to mind. That's what we do daily, right? Whenever we are awake, we see some screen that goes to our mind, right? It's very simple stuff, right? You feel that, okay, what's big deal in this? Anybody feeling that it's simple, what big deal? Just from screen to mind? That's where I'm going to show you how things are interesting behind your brain, how it's going to work, right? To kickstart this, I have some mind games for us to play. Alright? What do you see in the screen? Can you name the shapes? What shape will be Kiki? What shape will be Boba? Sound loud answers? Which is Boba? This one? Boba, this is Kiki? Why? Why is that Boba? Why is this Kiki? How is that? You never have seen this. You never know these names. How did you tell this is Boba and this is Kiki? And why most of your answers are similar? Looks like? Okay, good. So that is something in your mind happening behind, right? When you see something, right, and when we wanted to name it, your brain connected the sound and the shape, and it told you that this might be Boba, the first one might be Boba, second one might be Kiki, right? Yeah. So that's how the brain works. You know the interesting fact, that is something called as the Boba-Kiki effect, which was around 1920. They had this theory. You can just go through that. It will be very interesting. Moving on. Which feels like a more orangey aroma? Second. Why? How? Oh, it's just a picture. It's just a picture. And how do you smell the aroma from a picture? How can you? Let me, there are a lot of examples. When you see a picture of a hot smoky biryani, right? You get that smell. Even though that's just a picture, you get that smell, right? Yes, I felt the same. It's like the pulpy orange nature that makes it more orangey, right? That's how your visual experience triggers your sensations, right? The smelling sensations. The next one. Which ice cream would you pick? First, second, mixed opinions. First one, why? Both are good, no problem. But the first one is like more creamy. It looks like that, right? Whatever you see, that is, it's triggering your taste sensations. What you see, right? Let's talk about touch. How would you get just the right click feel? Yeah. Google, this is one image taken from a recent Google design where they had a study about how to give an organic touch experience for the user. It's a mix of enhancing the user experience, showing the small animation, and a little bit of haptic. That can give you a more organic feel of touch. Could you feel that? That's how the visual experience can trigger your touch sensations too, right? Did all the 5 questions engage all your 5 senses? Your vision, your sound, your smell, your taste, and your touch. That's how, basic designs can help you with the real world, right? With that small fun content, I want to introduce myself. My name is Kevin. I'm working as a lead front-end developer at SurveySparrow. I have one more friend who's going to join me in this session. She is Veena. She's working as senior consultant at CDW Technologies. Both are in Chennai. We have around 5+ years of experience with front-end technologies. Any questions with on that lines, you can reach out to us anytime. What do we have below that? It's some personal information about us, right? So what screens do I see daily? What do I own? I own a phone. I own a laptop. I own a smartwatch. She owns a phone and a laptop. I spend 14 hours a day with screens. She just did 10. That's great. I do 75% online purchases. She does 90. So that's how the impact of screens are in our daily life. You can work out the same for you too. There'll be a lot of time you are working only with the screens, right? Let me start with an interesting fact. 6 billion people in the world have access to smartphones, but only 4.5 have access to working toilets. See how your digital screens have surpassed the basic human needs, the human needs of mankind. That's so many screens. So this image here, the background, this is taken from Times Square, New York. See how the screens are dominating the place. The designs, the colors, pictures, all of that. Okay, now this is all fancy. We have screens. We talk about designs. Didn't we have the designs before the screens evolved? In the ancient times, no designs. Just after the screen came, we are talking about these designs. We had. This is a depict of few of our South Asian languages. Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada. You see any similarities? You see that? Yeah. Have you ever wondered how the initial languages were written? The initial languages. So they take leaves from the palm trees, they process it, they dry it, and use that as a paper. And they had, the ancient people had metal, pins which can just draw within the palm leaves. And the third step, they add ink into that and make that as an impression. That's how it's been written initially. And then it's all evolved. So now we have the stationaries, pen and paper. At that time, it was palm stationaries. Can I tell you that just because of the palm stationaries, our languages are impacted and influenced and like this? There is one reason. In the palm leaves, if you draw a straight line, there are high chances the leaf is going to tear, the paper is going to tear. They're going to rewrite it again, which was a problem. So the South Asian languages had all these curved letters. That's the similarity you see here. See how the nature, the culture, the designs blend in together. Right? South Asian letters, they are designed by leaves. I hope people who are interested with the other part of the world would have come across this one. Japanese minimalism. Have you come across this? This is a Zen Buddhism methodology. Okay? They just wanted very minimal things to live. I don't want anything else. I just want whatever I need to live. You know why this is in a design talk? Big companies like Apple, Sony, Google, they take this very, very seriously. They just want a minimalistic design to make things work. Simplicity. Example, the Google search bar. It's just a white paper, a search bar, but yet it's that much efficient. The simplicity nature. That's the designs are evolved from cultures. What you see in the screen? Your red is not my red. A Chinese person perceiving a red will be 100% different from how a person from India would perceive it, which will be again different from how a person in the Western culture would perceive it, right? From America or Switzerland. You know how we see red? You see a red signal, stop. You see a red board, you think that's a warning. Chinese culture, they enjoy the red color. All their festivals, all their weddings, they have the red colors in everything. But how the Western cultures would take it? They consider it a danger. It's a danger for them. That's the difference. Now, when your design is having a warning button in a red color, You got to think about it. Who is your user? That's how the colors are consumed from the cultures. How costly a color can be. How costly one color can be. Google about purple and the kings. King and the purples. Right? You will know a lot of things about it. You know, for 1 gram of purple, they had to kill 10,000 snails to get 1 gram. So, you know, a small bottle of the purple dye, they had to kill hundreds of thousands of snails, and that even costed a gold, equal to a gold. So only the royal people, the elite people wore that. The king, the queens, the elite people, only they were allowed to wear that. So how people perceive that color? So when I see a person wearing a purple color, I think he's a person with power, wealth, strength, all of that. That's how the color was perceived. Now colors are easy, but just think once purple color was a royal color, right? All right, so that's few ancient stuff, how design's been evolved. Now that we are all evolved, we know whatever is true that has a science behind it. Do you think designs have science behind? Yes? No? So to understand that, let's go into the science of designs, starting with the chemistry of designs. Right? Let me start with a small example. What do you see here? This is a workplace chat application which shows you a few notifications. The right side, it can be from a social media application which shows you the same notification. Both has background red colors. But what do you perceive when you see this? Exactly. We went through that with few of our coworkers. This is what they felt. Few felt when they saw the chat notification, they felt stressed, they felt curious. They were anxious to see that. But this, people enjoyed it. They felt happy seeing that. They felt they were heroes. Okay, seeing all these notifications. Right? Design-wise, they are similar. But how does your brain process it? What is happening in the behind? That's where an actual brain structure comes into play. This is the structure of a dopamine. You know what a dopamine is? They are the feel-good sensors. They make you feel good. Right? This works on a reward basis. You feed something, you get a reward, this excites, and your urge to do it more. All right? Getting up early in the morning, getting to work, make some money, that's a reward. That makes you work. That's how the dopamine hit happens. But why in a design talk? Why do we have to worry in a design talk? As a designer, okay, giving a very good experience that going to make the users come back, giving them a reward-based feeling, giving them a feel of satisfaction, feel of completion. That's how you can influence people coming back for more. That's why understanding dopamine is very important in a design science. Right? The next slide is important. Have you ever felt this? Is there a buy button in your brain? Let me give you a scenario. You have no intentions of buying something. You go to an e-commerce application. You see the deals, offers, banners, and finally you end up buying something? Yes? Everybody has that experience? That's how a designer can hit the right button at the right time to make you complete the action. This is very, very important in a marketing sector. But leaving the business aside, as a designer, when you see this happen, when people are surprised, happy seeing your designs, that's what everybody would cherish for. So now that you made them buy, what happens? How would you evaluate it? That's when your brain goes to a state called habituation. You know what habituation is? Your brain saying, I've been there, I've done that. Just take a real world example of driving a car. Initially it's hard. You put a lot of efforts. But over time, you don't mind it at all. You just drive easily. Right? We have an example, again, inspired from Google. Just imagine your app drawer. You're going to open things. The first time what you do, you scroll, you examine, you click. But when you do it for multiple times, eventually you make it, you scroll, you click. You eliminate the examine part at all. That's how habituation can help you. That's an important topic in the design world. How you make the user habituate doing that. How you make them comfortable doing that. All right? When going through taking all these, we came across a small fun content here. What a design is and what a user experience is. As a designer, you might feel that I have the best approach to doing this. I've covered all the scenarios. But what the user minds? They just want the shortest, efficient way to complete that action. As a designer, the primary goal is to make sure you understand what your user wants. This is a very good depict of that particular scenario. Just wanted to keep it. So having all these tricks together, we have a very good use case to show you. Let me play the video. So this is a small use case we thought it can help you understand. It's a mix of everything we talked so far. So this is Pokemon Go, right, which gives you a nostalgic feeling of Pokemons, and they connected the real world with AR technologies, and they trigger your reward feeling by giving you rare Pokemons, right? This is a phenomenal idea of blend of all the design, psychology, and techniques, and that made them a great success, right? So that brings me to the end of your chemistry part of your science. We have some more science sessions, which Veena will take over from here. Thank you.
So yeah, hello everyone. Veena here for your next physics session. So we all learned how chemicals in our brains love to work, especially when it comes to things like emotions and reactions. Next up, we are going to see how physics, those natural laws, can actually help us create a better user experience. So for this talk, we'll be integrating kinetic physics concepts into the field of UX design, starting with speed, distance, and time. So in UX context, this refers to how fast the website has to be for the users and how certain design techniques can actually make that happen. So in our digital world, people are expecting instant results, right? As surprising as it may sound when I say this, a research states that 1 in 4 users tend to abandon the website if it takes just more than 4 seconds to load. So the need for speed is rising. When we Google about how to improve website speed, bunch of topics will be popped on a screen, like this slide. But don't be scared, I'm not going to explain any of these topics. But here is the catch. What if I say, using some design techniques, we can actually make the website feel faster without even improving the loading time? Not convinced, right? Let me share a short story. Years back, Houston Airport faced numerous complaints from their passenger about their long waiting time. So the authorities took extensive measures to reduce the wait time, and they managed to get it within just 8 minutes, which is a shorter waiting time and is well within the industry standards. But you know what? The complaints still persisted. This confused the authorities, and they decided to take a step back and think out of the box. So they realized when people are busy, they are less scared about the time. The time just flies away. But when they are idle, people focus more on the time, making it feel longer. So the airport authorities made the people busy by making them walk for 7 minutes by parking the plane further away from the terminal. So by the time they reach the baggage claim area, they have to just wait for 1 minute now, and after that the complaints drop to 0. So but it's still the total time is still the 8 minutes, right? But here the perception of speed, the perception of time got improved. This is not just a simple airport trick. So this is a clever approach for making any wait time more engaging. Think of your website as an airport. Users are like passengers waiting for their job to get done. Like the Houston Airport, focus on the user journey. Keep the users engaged and busy throughout. There are various tricks and techniques which we can apply in design to give that feel faster perception for your website during unavoidable load times. So here I'm going to focus on one example, which is loading screens. Loading screens are often not considered more important, but we can achieve this feel faster technique using better loading screens. Starting with skeleton loaders. So instead of having a just static spinner, try using a dynamic page skeleton loaders. This approach reveals the content gradually as it loads, creating a sense of fluidity and speed. A research states that loading skeleton loaders make the user perceive the waiting time is shorter. Many popular sites like Swiggy, Facebook use this type of loaders because it make the content reveal bit by bit rather than just waiting unknowingly. So try using a skeleton loaders for a bigger waiting time. Moving on. So we have animated loaders. These are more popular. Animated loaders are better at keeping the people visually engaged. I'm sure like many of you here are already captured by this animation. So a research states that faster animation are better at grabbing attention than slower ones. So try to come up with some creative animator loaders for your websites to keep more engaging. Then we have this screen, loading screen with some content on it. So this is WhatsApp loading screen. So we all know that WhatsApp standard feature is this encrypted messaging and secure connection. So WhatsApp uses this loading screen to highlight these features to the visitors. So there's also a progress bar which clearly tells the user that everything is working smoothly in the background. So WhatsApp wisely uses their loading screen as a clear extension of their brand, right? So try to use a loading screen with purposeful feedback whenever applicable. So, yeah. So this is a physics session, right? So no physics session is complete without a law. So it's time for a famous law. So by the time, like I said this, like many of you already emerged this easy law. Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, crucially, whenever you are interacting with anything, it has to respond something back. This is true for UX design as well. So whenever you interact with any elements on the screen, interactable elements on the screen, it has to respond back. For example, a button. A button should confirm the click you make with them. Else the user will keep on clicking the button multiple times, making multiple API calls and slowing down the entire process. Think of button real world. Those switches, door handles, they make those satisfying click-clank sound purposely as a form of feedback. This feedback assures user that the system has recognized their input. Similarly, like feedback is crucial for a UX design as well. So this feedback can actually improve the overall user experience and remove any redundant actions. So I have one slide where we can use different form of feedbacks to the users. With this, I guess I am safe to say this fake and hack using design technique can be one such thing which can be added to this list for giving that feel faster user perception during unavoidable load times. So, alright. So we have seen about human psychology, examined how nature and culture has impacted design, some physics laws. So let's see how the companies have benefited from rightly applying these insights. So time for some real numbers. How do you recognize a brand or a company? So by their logo, their iconic taglines, right? Can you try to guess the brand by this color? It's like violet, but it's not good in the screen. No, it's not Zepto. Some chocolate brand. Cadbury's, yeah. Can you spot the logo? So Cadbury spent close to 1 million euros for redesigning their logo from left to the right. So now the latest Cadbury will have this logo on the right one. So if you go to their website, you can check that. So big brands invest heavily on rebranding. So because it helps them connect with the customers better. When Cadbury's updated their logo, they kept it simple. It's the same handwritten cursive version based on their founder's signature. It's just a thin and non-italicized version of what they had before. C is a little bigger to give it a sense of pride. So, Cadbury's kept it simple and subtle, not a big dramatic shift. Similar to this, like many big brands invest heavily for designs. There are many fascinating stories behind well-known logos, companies and brands. If you're really interested, you can check them out and the creative process behind them. So throughout the talk, we are mostly emphasizing on user experience. So what can a better understanding of a user experience gain? This is a short story of a $300 million button. So it's a small UX change that brought in $300 million in revenue in just more than a year. So it all started when a major e-commerce company realized that 45% of their customers are dropping out at the checkout page. They analyzed and realized that after adding items to the cart, people are forced to log in or register to checkout. New shoppers were hesitant to create an account, while the existing shoppers don't really remember their login credentials. We all have that, right? Like we have multiple login credentials for the same website. So the solution was this continuous guest button. So this small UX change made the checkout process much easier and it removed the barriers for checkout. So it brought in about $300 million in revenue, along with a 45% increase in conversion rate. So this is a clear example of how better understanding the user behavior and removing any barriers can actually improve the user experience as well improve profits. What happens if we don't? It's again a final short story about Walmart. So in 2009, Walmart decided to redesign their stores. So they wanted to get customer feedback, and they asked us one simple survey question. Would you like Walmart to be less cluttered? Yes, no. Obviously, most people picked yes, because who doesn't love a less cluttered space, right? So Walmart invested heavily. They removed 15% of their product from their store. They lowered the shelf, widened the aisles. It costed them a lot. But they trusted the customer survey. So what's the result? The result is $1.85 billion loss. So what actually happened is, in reality, customers actually like to have more options, even though it is cluttered. But what actually went wrong is the question itself. So the question more seemed like the Walmart already designed how their stores to be, and they had a closed question as yes or no. Instead of this closed-ended question, if they had an open-ended question like what do you think should be changed in Walmart, maybe they would have got more opinions, options, and things would be so different. So ignoring actual customer behavior is an expensive mistake. So every dollar invested in US yields a return between $2 and $100. So every detail you have on your screen, every words you choose, and every in-depth analysis which you make all add up, creating a truly valuable user experience. So with that being said, like here are some final pro tips based on consulting to all the topics, like keep it simple, clarity is key, feedback matters, and finally design for all. So the next time you effortlessly do something on a website, think about the process the designers would have done to give that particular experience. So our topic, from screen to mind, how business transforms user experience into portals of possibility. So thank you.